Hello and welcome to the Gay Cruise and Travel Podcast with me, just Joey T. Thank goodness for some rain in Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles. If you didn't know, I'm actually in West Hollywood. And yeah, this weekend, we finally got some rain. Thank goodness. Also, if you're watching the video version of the podcast, which is on my YouTube channel, Just Joey T, you see my hair is cray-cray right now. I'm overdue for a haircut, but I'm going to be waiting until the day before I fly out to Miami for the cruise next week. It's so soon. Like, I just realized today, oh shit, we only have a week left. And I still have so much work stuff to do. I got personal stuff to do, and I still haven't started packing, which kind of sort of brings me to the point of today's podcast. I am going to go over some final tips and advice and tricks and so on and so forth for next week's Atlantis cruise on board the Allure of the Seas on February the 3rd. That's the day we'll be boarding. So let us get to it. First of all, the cruise vacation guide. It is a PDF that is an electronic booklet of sorts, and it's got a lot of really detailed information that is really useful, / some of it is critical to know. For before you board the ship, as is the Atlantis tradition. It's running a little bit late, or it's probably on time by Atlantis standards. But honestly, don't be anxious or worried that the CVG is not out yet, because honestly, the CVG can come out like 3 days before we set sail, and it's not like you need a whole week to read through it. It's not like a heavy read. What I will do, though, I will do an extra episode of this podcast once the CVG comes out, because I actually really want to go through that CVG, especially for those of you who have not been on an Atlantis cruise before. If you're in any of the Facebook groups, for example, or some of the group chats, you'll hear a lot of people making some amount of fuss that the CVG is still not out. Where's the CVG? Blah, 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 blah. And I've actually seen that chatter give some anxiety to like some of the people who are new to Atlantis cruises. But like, honestly, 80 to 90% of the stuff that's in the CVG it's the same or very similar between most cruises. So, and a lot of it is kind of dry and boring. It's like, there's a section that says it's a cashless cruise, and then everything's going to be charged to your room. And then there's going to be the entertainment preview in the CVG, which is a preview, like it says, of the entertainment that's on board. It's got a little bit of the breakdown of schedule. That's going to be the first time where we're going to start to find out which parties are going to be on which nights. Some of the talent that has not been announced before will show up in that entertainment preview. For example, we'll know which DJs will be playing at the various parties, the party themes of which have been released weeks ago. Yeah, so you'll get more details on the entertainment. That's usually a big reason that people look forward to the CVG. But again, once that CVG goes out, I will do another episode, an extra episode of this podcast, because I actually really want to go through it with all of you. All right. On to the rest of what I want to talk about today, which is going to be stuff that I think a lot of you might be doing already, but in the run-up to the cruise, I feel like it's very hectic. It's a lot of things that people are doing. People are getting outfits and cruise cards, are getting the door decor, and they still have to pack just like their regular clothes, their toiletries, all this other stuff. And then, especially for people who have not been on a lot of cruises before, or maybe not been on a Royal Caribbean sailing before, they've got a lot of questions. So I've got a bunch of tips for things you can do right now. I actually got some tips about things to do right after you get on board. And I've collected quite a few Q&As from various people. Some of you have commented in the YouTube sections with specific questions. And I've seen some questions pop up in some of the Facebook groups and group chats as well. So let's get into it. Hey, when was the last time you really took care of your skin? The skin is the largest organ in the whole human body, and it's doing so much for you. It protects you from germs and cooties. It keeps you warm when you're cold. It keeps you cool when you're hot. It's making vitamin D. It gives you the gift of touch and sensation. And that's just scratching the surface, so you better take care of it I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone so that you can serve fun while serving face. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. First of all, digital cruise cards. Talked about briefly about cruise cards, which are basically little printed cards you can get. You can put your name on it, your contact info, social media, a photo, and it's a cute way to meet people. You might meet people on the cruise. You give them a cruise card so that, they have like your social media. If they don't have Wi-Fi, they can add you after the cruise. They have your name, they have your photo. Maybe they also have your room number. So you can give out these cruise cards to whoever you would like as you meet new people on the cruise. That's a little more of an old-fashioned thing to do. Back like 8, 10, 15 years ago, cruise cards were more popular. But we are living in more of a digital age, and people tend to have their cell phones with them most of the time on a cruise, even if they don't have Wi-Fi or internet access on that particular cruise, because there are a lot of onboard services on a cruise that have moved to be digital. For example, every day we will get a newsletter. Royal Caribbean calls it the Cruise Compass, and it will have all the nitty-gritty details about every single thing that is happening on the ship, all the way from like the super early breakfast, the early bird breakfast, the early yoga classes, all the way to the parties and the after parties that run until the early morning hours into like the next day. So the Cruise Compass will be something that everyone will be reading, that everyone will be referencing. And there's also a digital version of the Cruise Compass that Royal Caribbean has been doing since COVID. So the last 3 or 4 Royal Caribbean cruises I've been on, there has been a QR code for the Cruise Compass that was in my room when I boarded. So every day I would just scan a QR code. It will load up the latest day's Cruise Compass as a PDF, and I could save that PDF onto my phone. Anyways, one of the things that have moved to be digital as well are the cruise cards. So I have a video all about digital or virtual cruise cards, which I will link below in the description of this podcast. But basically the idea is you can create a custom background image that you can set for the lock screen of your phone, okay? And you can put all the same information on your phone's lock screen as you would on a physical cruise card that you print and order. So you can have photos of yourself, you can have your name, you can have even QR codes that other people can scan the QR code that's on your phone's lock screen to add you to a social media or link off to whatever you want, a link tree, what have you. You put anything on your phone's lock screen that you want. So I've got a tutorial of how to make a virtual cruise card linked in the description below. I highly recommend it, even if you're not the type to really want to share your contact info or social media or whatever. One of the best reasons to have a customized lock screen on your phone for the cruise is in case you drop or lose your phone on board, whoever finds your phone and picks it up, they'll see, oh, this phone belongs to someone named Joey. It's got their photo on the lock screen, and I can just, maybe it's also got their room number on it if you choose to put your room number onto your lock screen. So whoever finds your phone and picks it up in case you lose your phone, they can very easily see, oh, it's Joey's phone, and they are in room 10123 or whatever. And then, they can either return it to you, or if they return the phone to guest services or a member of the crew on board, then the crew or guest services can very easily see, again, on the lock screen, oh, this belongs to the guest that's staying in room whatever, or this is Joey's phone, and we have that person's photo. So if for no other reason, it's a great way to have your phone reunited with you in short order in case you drop your phone. I've dropped my phone multiple times when I've been at the main theater. So it'd be in my pocket and I'm sitting down and the phone just wiggles itself out of my pocket and it goes under the seat, and the theater's dark. So it's hard to tell. So highly, highly recommend the digital cruise card. Again, link is down in the description below for more information. Now, let's talk about some packing tips. In last week's episode, I briefly talked about make sure not to pack anything that is a weapon, obviously, but also do not pack anything that resembles a weapon or could be interpreted as a weapon by security screening people. No replicas of weapons or anything like that. Just want to reiterate that because I think it is very important. Another thing, another one of my packing tips is the drugstore run. And I talked about this in my quote morning of boarding YouTube video that I just posted a few weeks ago. I'll link it down in the description as well in case you want some extra tips for the morning of embarkation. And I go through a whole bunch of tips in that video. Give that video a view, if you will, on my YouTube channel, Just Joey T. But the idea of the drugstore run is I recommend you not pack every single type of basic toiletry that you think you might need. And instead of packing like body wash, shampoo, conditioner, some of that stuff, you can just buy some of those basic toiletries once you get to Miami. And the advantage is that, okay, you have less to pack. You boys are going to be packing so much stuff for this cruise that anything you can get away with packing less of will probably reduce your stress levels. And also, by packing less toiletries that you can buy later, it leaves more room for you to pack things that you can't buy, such as more party outfits and accessories. I know you boys, a lot of you boys go crazy on your party outfits. And also, the less liquid toiletries you pack in your luggage, the less chance that you'll get a leak of some sort, which is obviously not desirable, in your luggage while you're on the plane ride to Miami, for example. In that morning of boarding video I did on YouTube, I gave some examples of things that I usually don't pack into my luggage at home, but I will buy once I get to whatever city I'm flying into for the cruise. So Miami in this case. So usually I get protein powder. I will get conditioner because I have not been on a Royal Caribbean cruise in recent years that have conditioner. Think about maybe just buying some of that at a CVS, a Walgreens, or Target, or whatever, once you get to Miami, so that it's just something less for you to pack. So it's something that I always do for every single cruise. All right. A lot of boys will have larger suitcases and larger pieces of luggage that they will check in for the flight. And they'll probably check at curbside for the porters when you arrive at the port for them to bring that luggage onto the ship with you. But make sure you have a carry-on bag with some of these items, okay? Wallet, passport, travel documents, make sure you don't accidentally leave it in the luggage that you're going to leave with the porters. You obviously need that to check into the cruise. Any medication that you might have, toiletries, valuables, jewelry, laptop, tablet, chargers and cables for your electronics, and also your door decor. I'll also bring a change of clothes with me. For me, it's nice to change into some fresh clothes after I board. If there's something I want to wear for the sailaway party, which is usually on the pool deck or like a deck above, outdoors, and you get to watch the ship push back from the port. You get to have some drinks and start mingling with other passengers. If there's something you want to wear for that, that's not your boarding clothes, I would pack that change of clothes now. I would also pack a change of clothes for dinner if you want to change into something different for dinner. Basically, I would just pack a couple of changes of clothes just because your luggage is not going to arrive right away after you board. So I go into more details about the process of leaving your luggage with the porters curbside, your larger pieces of luggage usually. In the, I just did a walkthrough video of what the boarding process is like. So feel free to go watch that. I just made a whole ton of YouTube videos recently. Go check that out. So yeah, as you're packing, just make sure you carry some of these items and anything else you feel like you might want to have access to right after boarding or even in the early evenings, because usually luggage, you leave curbside with the porters that you check at the port. It usually doesn't get to your room until like late afternoon, early evening. So there you go. All right. Right after you board the ship, There are a couple of tips I have for you there. So the safety briefing, if you've never been on a cruise before, there's a safety briefing, or AKA the muster drill is the more traditional term for it, that every single passenger must go through. It's not like when you board an airplane and they're doing a safety demonstration and half the people just like have the headphones in and they're like reading something on their phone. You don't have to listen technically before the plane can take off. No, the safety briefing on a cruise ship, you will have to, as part of that, report to your assembly station and scan in with your key card. It's the same key card that unlocks your door, to acknowledge that you have done the safety briefing. So they actually take attendance, basically. And if not everyone has done it, not all the passengers have done it, they don't set sail. So it's actually very important for you to do that sometime after boarding. And the other thing that will be very useful is to update or change some of the settings on your phone regarding the date and time, regarding airplane mode, obviously, regarding data usage, low data mode, and also if you have the internet, there's some additional settings that might be worth checking out as well to make sure we don't clog up the Wi-Fi for everyone. There's going to be a lot of people on the ship. Cruise ship Wi-Fi is not very fast. And also to avoid any potential roaming charges. So I've actually got a blog on my website that I will also link down below, so you can just follow. I've got 5 steps for 5 phone settings for you to check and change. And I explain all the reasons why and exactly how to do it in that blog article, all linked below. Okay, can I tell you something for real? Skincare is not really a sexy topic. No one's waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, I have to take care of my skin. I know I talk a lot on the podcast, I have a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of advice to give. But if you don't listen to me about anything, listen to me about this. You have to take care of yourself, and you also have to take care of your skin. I believe in it so much, and I think it's such a critical thing that I started my own skincare company, Serve Labs, to serve fun and functional skincare for everyone. And you know what? Not to toot my own horn, but people are always telling me, your skin looks so good, and I can't believe how old you are. Do you know why? Because I've been taking care of my skin for many, many years. But I know, for a lot of you, skincare just sounds like another chore. But I want to make it fun. And that's where Serve Labs comes in. Go to servelabs.co, servelabs.co, or follow us at Serve Labs on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, and discover how easy and fun it is to treat your skin right with Serve Labs. All right, with that, we are going to tackle some Q&A. The first one is, I'm trying to schedule travel back to the airport on departure day. I have read on the travel document that a scheduled departure time will be assigned to you after boarding. How do people usually work that for scheduling a ride? Okay, so when it comes time to depart, the last night that we're going to be on the ship, you have the option to leave luggage outside your stateroom before you go to bed on the last night, so that the crew / the porters will be able to take that luggage from you and carry it off the ship. The departure time slot is mainly to coordinate when that'll be ready to be picked up inside the terminal when you get off the ship. So if we do leave that luggage outside, there will be a time slot. There's like a special tag that you put on that luggage. After you walk off the ship physically the next morning, in the terminal building, there'll be a luggage pickup area. We're going to have, it's a sold-out cruise. It's going to be something like 5,500 passengers on this massive cruise ship. They have to have some coordination, and not everyone's luggage is going to be carried off the ship at the exact same time. So that's why they kind of have this time slot system so that, you don't get there before your luggage does. So that's kind of sort of like the main reason they have the time slots. If you're able to carry all of your luggage and walk off with it all by yourself, so that is you don't have to leave luggage outside the room for the crew to carry off the ship for you, you can actually walk off the ship at any time. The earliest that anyone will get off the ship is probably going to be around like 7 a.m.-ish, give or take. There's some variables there that we can't foresee right now. They have to go through like paperwork, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So usually, I think for this cruise, 7 a.m. ish is probably the earliest that anyone will be getting off the ship. And that's probably for the people who are carrying the luggage. The last passengers will probably walk off the ship around 10 a.m. ish. Again, like give or take, there's a little bit of flex there. And all the luggage should be off by around that time. All cruise ships dock back in the morning time. So we're not the only ship docking back at 6 a.m. All the other ships are coming back at around the same time as well. Traffic will be cray, super crazy. Car traffic. Doesn't matter if it's a private car, Uber, Lyft, taxi, shuttle, like vehicular traffic will be crazy. So if you want to avoid the traffic, my suggestion is get off early. It's a party cruise. A lot of boys want to sleep and get breakfast, do all that. But try to get off like early, like before 8 o'clock maybe. And you will beat a good amount of the traffic. So there's still be some traffic, but it'll be like manageable. Or if you have the option to just like hang back a little bit, which is what I did the last time I was on this cruise. My flight wasn't until like the late afternoon. And by the time I got off the ship, it was like 9 a.m.-ish. And Uber's lives completely crazy. Like terminal completely jammed with cars. I didn't get a car out until like noon. I just like hung back and I just chilled. So that's another option. If you have a morning flight, before 12 p.m. noon, I recommend getting off early if you can. Now, Royal Caribbean should be offering shuttles to the airport. I'm not Royal Caribbean, so I can't give you like the 100% money back guarantee on that. But every Royal Caribbean Atlantis charter cruise I've been on, they did offer shuttle sign-ups to take you from the terminal to one of the airports, either Miami, MIA, or Fort Lauderdale, FLL. But those are not unlimited capacity. You have to like sign up for it to get it. If you haven't booked your flight back home yet, I would strongly recommend booking a flight that's not in the morning. That's not before noon. Try to book something in the afternoon if at all possible, just because traffic will be crazy, especially if you need to check luggage, you need to get to the airport, like at least 90 minutes or 2 hours in advance. You just want to give yourself plenty of time. There's going to be like many thousands of people trying to get Ubers and taxis and all that kind of stuff. Not just our ship, other ships as well. So if you haven't booked your flight yet, try to get one in the afternoon. All right, next question. I heard that we can't go to San Juan anymore. What is going on? So our ship is a Oasis class ship with Royal Caribbean. It's one of the biggest cruise ships in the world. It can't just park in any parking spot. It needs an XL parking spot, and they only have one of those XL parking spots in San Juan, and it's not open for service yet. It was supposed to be originally scheduled to be open for service by now. Unfortunately, that's out of our control. It's up to San Juan and like the Port Authority people there, but it's not open for service yet, and it's not scheduled to be open for service during the duration of our cruise. So in the RC app, Royal Caribbean has replaced San Juan with a different destination. So itinerary has changed. Instead of San Juan, we will be going to Charlotte Amalie. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. In St. Thomas, which is, and that is the capital of the U.S. Virgin Islands, according to Google. No changes to the dates. So the other ports that we're going to go to, which is St. Martin and also Labadee, are still on the same dates. So that is what's going on with San Juan on the itinerary. Next question is internet related. Can I buy a one-device internet package and change it between my phone and tablet on the cruise? Yes. So you can swap between devices as many times as you want whenever you would like. You would just go to login.com, login.com, in the web browser on the device to switch between the devices. So if you got like a phone and a laptop, if you have a one device package, you can't have both devices or multiple devices be connected online at the same time simultaneously. But when you are done using the internet on one, you can switch it to the other one and switch it back and forth whenever you want, as much as you want. By the way, if you are going with friends, and let's say there's 4 of you, okay? You and 3 other friends are going on this cruise, and you each have a phone. You can get a 4-device internet package and split it between the 4 of you, and that will be cheaper for each of you than if you each individually just got the 1-device package. FYI, in case you have not purchased the Wi-Fi package already, but you are looking into it and you know some friends or some other people that are also wanting to get internet. And it doesn't matter that the 4 of you are not staying in the same room, because there's no way for them to track which phone stays in which room. So whoever buys the package, on boarding day, they'll set it up with like a PIN code or like a little password or whatever. And then you will just give to your 3 friends the login basically that you've created for that internet package, so that your 3 other friends can log into that package on their phones. All right, next question. I know we get 1 complimentary specialty dining meal. That's correct. Is the Chef's Table restaurant included as an option? As far as I can tell, Chef's Table, which is like one of the, I think it's the most expensive specialty restaurant on the Allure of the Seas, and it's a very high demand one. It's like a very special one. As far as I can tell, Chef's Table is not excluded from the specialty restaurant voucher that everybody's gonna get. Again, if you didn't know about this voucher, every single passenger on this Allure cruise coming up next week is going to get a quote-unquote voucher for 1 lunch or dinner at a specialty restaurant. Now, there's some fine print to this voucher, and I'm going to highlight just a few of the fine print here, which I think is relevant for this particular question. 1, bookings can only be made on board for the same day or the next day using the voucher. Number 2, the vouchers are only valid for the first 5 days of the cruise. Number 3, bookings are first come and first serve. So there's some other extra fine print. You can look that up on the Atlantis website or one of the Atlantis emails that they've been sending out. But Chef's Table, again, it's a very high demand specialty restaurant. And because of that, I think getting a booking at Chef's Table, even without the vouchers, getting a booking at Chef's Table is a little difficult. It's easier to get a booking at the other kind of run-of-the-mill specialty restaurants. So as far as I can tell, technically the answer is it's not excluded, but it's probably going to be a bit difficult to get a booking for Chef's Table just because supply and demand. Basically, a lot of people want to do it. The next question is about luggage. How long does it take for luggage to get to our staterooms after boarding? So this is asking about the luggage that you leave curbside when you get to the terminal on day 1 with the porters. So again, usually it'll get there like within 2 or 3 hours of the set sail time that's been scheduled. So usually this is by the early evening or by dinner time, 6 or 7 p.m. thereabouts. Usually most of the luggage has been delivered. However, every cruise is a little bit different. There's a lot of, operational variables that happen behind the scenes. So the earliest I've seen anyone get their luggage is before we actually set sail. Obviously, the people that check their luggage and arrive at the port earlier, they have a higher likelihood of getting their luggage delivered a little earlier. I think they might have some sort of priority for the people staying in the suites as well. But the latest I've seen people get the luggage is like really late at night or maybe even the next morning in rare cases. Like very rarely I've heard someone like, I didn't get my luggage until the next morning. Like it was delivered while I was sleeping overnight or something. That's why I give the tip to just pack some of your stuff in a carry-on, stuff that you might need to have right away when you board, just in case your luggage doesn't come until like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., on the off chance that they're running a little bit late with that. Next question, how much alcohol and beverages can I bring on board? So this is governed by World Caribbean. It's not governed by Atlantis. And this is the tea for our cruise next week. So there's 3 categories, okay? So there's wine and champagne is one category. Other types of alcohol like beer or hard liquor is a second category. And the third category is non-alcoholic beverages. So for wine and champagne, you can bring one and only one bottle, and the bottle can be a maximum of 750 milliliters, and that's per guest. So if you have in your room, you have a roommate, okay, maybe your significant other, you can each bring one bottle of wine or champagne, and the bottle can be up to 750 milliliters. Boxed wine and something that's not a bottle, they don't allow that. So it has to be just like a regular glass bottle. If for whatever reason you go over the limit, they will take away the extra bottles and they should return it back to you on the last day of the cruise so that you can take it home with you. Okay? So that's wine and champagne. For other alcohol, it's not allowed. So you can't bring beer, you can't bring hard liquor. If you do try to bring it somehow and they seize it, they're not going to return it to you. Now, for non-alcoholic beverages, you can bring up to 12 bottles or cans or cartons. You can bring 12 of them basically, and each one can be up to 17 ounces, which is pretty sizable. And this is per stateroom. I don't know why this is per stateroom and then the wine and champagne thing is like per guest. I don't know how they enforce it per stateroom when they're going through the boarding. But anyways, technically it's per stateroom. Again, 12 cans or bottles or whatever, each one up to 17 ounces per stateroom. All right. Those are all the questions that I have gotten or have seen asked frequently in this last week run-up to the cruise. Again, digital cruise card, there's a link for a video down in the description. There is a morning of boarding video where I'm talking more about this drugstore run that I do all the time myself, and it's helpful to keep in mind when I'm packing. There is another link to phone settings you can change that you should be changing after you've boarded. You can like copy and paste that or like bookmark it so that once you get on board, you can just follow those 5 things to change. Bam, 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 and then you'll be good to go. And again, once the CVG comes up for this cruise, I will do an episode just on that CVG or maybe any last minute questions you might have. If you do have any questions, go ahead in the YouTube or the Spotify comments, either one actually, and just add that question that you might have down in any of the comment section for this podcast you can find. And if I get enough questions, I will tackle it hopefully before I fly off to Miami this Saturday. So I'm actually flying to Miami on Saturday. I'm going to be staying Saturday night and Sunday night in Miami before I board the cruise on Monday. So until the next time when the CVG comes out, I will talk to you all again later. Bye, y'all.